A woman glanced behind her carefully, then picked up a brick. "Let's go." She grabbed the keys from the man's pocket and finally unlocked the chains that had bound her for 6 long months. Even after freeing herself, she still didn't feel safe. She turned around, grabbed the man by the legs, and dragged him across the floor like a dead animal. Then she chained him up with iron shackles so he could experience the same imprisonment she had suffered. The woman had been kidnapped and sold by human traffickers. Every day, the man beat and abused her, forcing her to live in darkness and fear. Escape was the only way she could survive. But when she finally stepped outside, she froze in shock. Mountains surrounded her in every direction. Within miles, there was only this lonely house. Even with 2 extra legs, she couldn't outrun this desolate place. Luckily, she spotted the man's pickup truck nearby. Like grabbing onto her last hope, she rushed inside. But after searching through every key she had, she still couldn't find the truck key. After struggling with fear, she decided to go back into the house. And the risk paid off. Inside, she discovered a telephone line and immediately tried calling the police. Unfortunately, the disgusting man hadn't even paid the phone bill. Left with no choice, she continued searching deeper inside the house. This time, she found something even more shocking. Inside a bag was a handgun, and plenty of bullets. Then a photograph caught her attention. After looking closely, she realized the man hadn't only imprisoned her, he had imprisoned many other girls as well. Thinking about the other victims suffering just like her, she made a bold decision. She walked back into the room and threw the photo in front of the man, demanding that he take her to the other girls. But the man only glanced at it briefly and sat there silently, pretending not to care. Even when she pointed the gun at his head, he remained fearless. But he underestimated the rage burning inside her. The woman walked into the bathroom, ripped a metal pipe from the wall, smashed apart a cheap stool, removed its support bar, and cut off a section of telephone wire. Soon, she had created a brutal choke device. The man still didn't take her seriously and casually placed the loop around his neck. The woman stepped behind him and pulled the rope with all her strength. "Tell me where the others are," she growled, "or I'll make your life a living hell." This is far worse than getting shot. The man's face swelled as he struggled to breathe. Finally, terrified, he agreed to lead her to the victims. They arrived at a rundown building. The moment she stepped inside, she was horrified. There was only a narrow hallway about a meter wide, with tiny rooms lined up on both sides, as if they had been built specifically to imprison young girls. The deeper they walked, the more disturbing it became. There were countless rooms. After nearly 5 minutes, the man finally stopped and opened one of the rooms. The woman quickly chained him to the wall and rushed inside to save the victim. A blonde girl appeared before her, mentally broken from torture. No matter how gently the woman tried to calm her down, the girl only became more hysterical. The woman finally unlocked her chains. But the terrified girl suddenly ran out of the room. As she sprinted away, she tripped over a log and slammed directly into a wooden fence. The impact killed her instantly. Staring at the dead girl, the woman was overwhelmed with guilt. But she knew this wasn't the time to mourn. Saving the others mattered more. She forced the criminal to continue leading her. After treating his wounds, she prepared to drive again, but the man suddenly refused to cooperate. He demanded medical treatment first if she wanted him to keep helping. The woman responded by pointing the gun directly at his head. Seeing the fury in her eyes, the man realized she wasn't joking anymore. Terrified, he obeyed. Soon they reached another building filled with smoke and silence. The woman searched everywhere but found nothing. Then she noticed a second floor. Upstairs looked even worse, filthy, chaotic, and horrifying like a giant garbage dump. Finally, she discovered another room. Gathering her courage, she opened the door. The room was pitch black. Using a flashlight, she noticed a shadow moving. Suddenly, the lights turned on. Several vicious-looking men stood at the doorway, shouting angrily. Without hesitation, the woman fired her gun. One man dropped instantly. Another fat man tried to escape, but she chased after him and fired multiple shots, eventually killing him too. Unfortunately, one criminal managed to escape, and that man would soon become a huge problem. After rescuing another girl, the woman returned to the truck, only to discover the injured man had disappeared. Blood trails stretched from the vehicle toward the road. While searching for him, the man suddenly reappeared. Before she could react, another person grabbed her from behind while someone in front pointed a gun at her. Fortunately, her allies arrived just in time. The once arrogant criminal immediately begged for mercy. But the woman and her companions had other plans. After brutally punishing him, they forced him to reveal the location of every kidnapped girl. Eventually, he led them to an abandoned factory. Inside, the atmosphere was terrifying, dark, damp, and filled with bloodstains. It felt as though unseen eyes were watching them from the shadows. At last, they found the room. Inside were countless imprisoned girls living in horrifying conditions. When the victims first saw them, their hopeless eyes immediately lowered again in fear. Only after hearing the woman promise to save them did anyone dare speak. The girls explained that they had been tricked and brought there. The prettier girls were taken away first, while the others survived on almost nothing but scraps of vegetables. The woman decided to leave the rescued girls there temporarily while waiting for the police. Then she continued searching for more victims. Eventually, they reached another hideout. This time, she found no prisoners. Instead, sitting calmly on the sofa, was her boyfriend. The moment he saw her, panic flashed across his face. Before she could question him, he quickly claimed he had come to rescue her and even offered her his coat. At first, his words sounded convincing. But then she discovered several photographs. They were pictures of the kidnapped girls. When she demanded answers, the man became visibly nervous. Suddenly, a hidden room door swung open, revealing another imprisoned girl inside. After a violent struggle, the man somehow survived and desperately begged for mercy. "My elderly mother